What's up, everybody? We are off the farm, long ways off the farm.
Way off the farm.
So we are in Midway, Utah at the moment, and I'll kind of pan around. You guys can see the mountains behind us. That's part of the Rocky Mountains. Still got some snow caps on there. This is the first time we've been up to the northwest of the United States. But we have been invited to a summit that is held by Redmond. Redmond is the company that you guys probably know of, Real Salt or Redmond Agriculture. You guys know we use a lot of their products on the farm with our goats and our other animals, especially the garlic salt.
Yeah.
But we are here to do a summit. We're going to meet a lot of awesome creators. We're going to get to tour their mind. And I don't know what all I'm going to film, and I don't know what all we're getting into. But we're going to try to kind of film some of this. I don't know how much I'm going to talk and all that through it. But we're going to bring you guys along and show you a little bit about what Redmond is about and all their products, stuff like that.
First of all, we want to thank everyone at Redmond for inviting us along on this and keeping it Dutch also.
Yeah, they're actually right
they're
back
behind
there.
us.
Hey, Dutch!
Randy. So yeah,
We made the
thank you
trip
very
together,
much.
actually.
Yeah. So it's going to be an exciting trip. We've got lots of stuff going, and again, thank you so much, Redmond, for including us in this.
So guys, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave us a comment if you watch it all the way through and tell us what you think. Yeah, but it was like a conventional farm back
then. Yeah, I mean, and this is family land, so I've always been around farming, but this is the first time this property's been used as a commercial farm. My grandpa had a hobby farm, and this piece of land has been in my family since this town was first settled. So it's the last little bit of what was hundreds of acres at one time, but it's just 3.5 acres. And I really wanted, and the family in general wanted to not put it into housing. As you can see, we're surrounded by houses, and do something that I wanted to do something that would benefit the community and uplift the health of the community, and something that would be here for generations to come. So that's really fast tracking how I got to this point of having a hydroponic greenhouse. But just looking at all the different ways to do something here that would be sustainable, meeting people, planet, and profit. So I wanted it to be economically sustainable. I wanted something that was good for this place that this greenhouse would be. In Utah, we're very drought prone.
starting on the floor.
In the grocery store. You know what I mean?
Come on, I can't pass this stuff up. I'm sorry.
Get on me. Had a bunch of breakfast sandwiches. They're all marked. There's egg and cheese, baked egg and cheese, and sausage egg and cheese. There you go.
So, do you like the garlic?
I do like it too. I like eating it.
So this is like what you'd see at Tractor Supply, Cabela's, and Trophy Rock.
Process all of any of the rock that's 7 pounds to 32 pounds that's racked, our trophy rock, our equine rock, and we do a variety of different mixes where we mix minerals with our salt too for different needs, you know, cattle, sheep, whatever. But as you can see, if you want to come down here, you can kind of see we have 2 different batch processes.
Crusher. Almost everything that comes out of the mine except for the food grade salt goes through this crusher. It can handle anything 4-foot size boulders and smaller.
Wow.
There's probably about 500,000 tons of salt that go through that a year.
How much backlog of salt do you
By September, October, coming up to the winter, so the salt underneath. So we'll just come up to this and we'll just screen off the top, run it back through the crusher, and everything under that crust is good salt.
Spots where people have licked before. If you want to lick there, you're fine. Within about 10 minutes of you licking the wall, it's sanitized again. So you're good to go.
I'm trying it.
You're trying it? Yeah.
Oh no, you're right.
That's exactly right.
Okay, last chance.
Hey, everybody, hold your breath.
So there's one spot with cribbing right as you come into the mine. That was actually added for a movie set. Back in the early 90s, HBO was shooting a film called Slaughter of the Innocent.
Carson, you're doing my intro for this video.
In my first YouTube video.
Where's the porta-john at?
You were in your first YouTube video when you came to the Okie Expo?
Yes, I was.
Awesome.
Yeah, so to use the restroom, just find a corner.
Oh, right.
There's no porta-john.
Oh man, there's a hole there though.
Rachel, get up here by this salt. Rachel, hey, get over here. What do you think?
I don't like it. It's amazing.
Pick up on them things. I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. All right. So we are currently 800 feet down in the salt mine, and it is crazy.
This is amazing.
Who's gonna lick the wall?
Yeah.
Oh no.
We all want to film it.
Ready?
Yeah. Don't give it a cat lick, give it a cow lick. Yeah. There you go.
There you go. How does it taste?
Yeah, salty.
Salty. Imagine
Pure salt liver.
Yeah,
Salty like your wife?
that's pretty good.
Your turn. Your turn. Can we record it for you?
that. Wait, where did you look at? Right
Scoot down a rib down here.
You gotta guess. It kind of tastes sweet, don't it?
Salty.
Yeah. Your turn.
My turn. Here, cameraman.
I'm a camera woman.
I'm gonna go down a little more.
Oh, you don't want to lick their spots?
Where'd you lick it? I won't be licking on the same thing.
Who'd have thought this was a problem?
You got it.
You gotta come in the light,
Yeah,
Kevin.
there's no light.
Kevin, you gotta come in the light. Right here.
Come right over here.
Nobody did it there.
All right.
For me, somebody else.
Someone else did it.
donate.
That's real good. You want to do it?
So there's the ventilation hole. That's what he's talking about.
That's the ventilation hole?
So they drill a 1-inch hole, and then they use fresh water to bore it out to that size. Wow. So that's how we get air down here.
Fresh oxygen?
Yep, that's how we get fresh oxygen down here, is through those holes. But it's just a 1-inch hole, then they just run fresh water.
At some point, this right here was the face, and we're blasting it 16 feet at a time.
So what's this string for?
So this is
This is just GPS location.
Okay.
So when they're shooting the wall, they'll be able to have these all line up accurate, and that way the tunnels will line up.
Wow.
Exactly on top
That's
of each other
amazing.
for the structural support of the line.
That is. It tastes better than
Pretty
the last
good?
wall. Absolutely.
Tastes better.
Oh, wow.
Sweeter there?
Sweeter than the last wall. You can definitely tell this is a food grade area.
Yeah, you got to taste that, Rachel. It's
This spot, so all this stuff you guys have seen,
taste it. Taste the
all this
powder.
stuff you guys have seen has a lot of dust on it.
Taste some of it.
Even when we blast the road salt.
So it tastes like salt, right?
Yeah,
I love
tastes
it.
like really good salt.
Takes me back to when I used to lick Grandpa's salt blocks.
That's the main one.
That's really good. I'm taking a couple.
So the black's your manganese, so there's 60 trace minerals. That's where you're getting your different colors.
60 trace minerals.
Yeah.
Give or take a couple.
That's
So,
like
and every rock, I mean, you get some rocks like, you could probably grab one of these and the light won't go through it because it's not, number one, it's probably dusty.
Good.
But
Look at that. Wow.
So if you guys do want to take some of these, make salt lamps, or feel free to grab one.
That's awesome.
But every rock, I mean, even if it's coming off.
That black just really shines through, but the black tends to be a little sweeter because that manganese has a sweeter flavor. So what we'll do is we'll do some testing of just black pieces and just red pieces. And it's not super high difference because it's still about 98%. But the black is higher in manganese and a little sweeter.
But they actually, so we sell most of our trophy on the back.
So you can just see the different.
It's sure good you got places to rest.
That was M Shop. They had to come check this and they're like, you got to give us a place to rest.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had to go all the way through.
Don't get hurt.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
thing. This at one point, we drilled a hole and ran a pipe down and ran fresh water.
Oh my
Pour this out.
Just down the bottom.
80 feet.
You guys, somebody can stand over here. Just hold on. I'm not sure if M Shop would like me doing this, but it's really cool, I think. So.
It's very cool. Yeah, that is pretty far down there.
So it's roughly, so you have 80 feet from this floor to the ceiling, and then you have another roughly 50 to 60 feet of the tunnel. So it's probably 130, 140 feet.
That is incredible.
Not even number. Basically tend to give them the right of way.
The weight of weight.
What are these?
He says it's the lag lights that from the water dripping coming down from up.
They're hollow?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
It looks like a...
Welcome to Redmond Minerals. You guys have been already doing all the fun stuff, so as far as welcoming, I think the dynamite and the tour was the real welcome. And I'm glad you're here. We've put a few of our products so you'll know kind of what we do. So the way that Redmond is structured, Rhett talked kind of about our why last night. We're mostly a people company is what we're all about. We happen to have some salt and minerals that we've been blessed with that allow us to do the things that we do as a business. And in Redmond Minerals, we do our equine division, ag division, industrial, so de-icing, bentonite, clay. Those are a lot of, and then our hunt division too for the hunting industry. We have these independently functioning businesses
underneath a holding company called Redmond Inc. And we are different than Buffett and the way they do things in one way. So like C's Candies and Fruit of the Loom and Justin Boots, they all have separate businesses, separate cultures. They don't interact as people inside these organizations. They're just owned by the same person. What we want are businesses that are independently operating, but that they share common core structure, values, and that the people are learning from one another between these organizations.
Just saw, same profile. Those trace elements make a difference. The salt that we're used to obviously is refined sodium chloride. Everything else has been stripped out and sold into a market that requires a little bit more, or demands a little bit more margin. And we get a byproduct that's toxic, really, and that's what the world has come to know as salt.
Yeah.
And this is completely different. And I know, I saw Daryl earlier, he can tell you, but the Redmond Life folks put out some stuff, and I was reading one of them the other day that was really fascinating, because you know how they'll put 2,000 milligrams for your daily allowance of sodium? And these guys have articles written, and I personally do take 2 to 3 times that in sodium a day. But it's this stuff, not the other stuff. So when you get out of balance between acidic and alkaline, you get sick. And when you let the acid go a little too high from the acid producing foods versus the basic foods, and you guys I'm sure know all about that, that's what happens. Salmonella is everywhere, E. coli is everywhere. The good guys stay in control when you do things smart. And that's what's going on in the soil. So when it's balanced, when you got microbes, when they're doing their thing, when you have minerals, nature makes it work for you. Keep some of that other stuff under control.
Feed your Redmond salt and conditioner, where are we at as far as liver minerals? So you pull liver biopsies. And so these are the reports from Michigan State University and Utah State University. Vets would pull it and they tend to send their samples to their alma mater. And so those are the labs that run the test. And you can see that we didn't have anything that was below the required bar, the recommended level for each of those minerals. So that was a great relief to us, because some of these big dairies could come back and say, you messed up my cows.
Yeah.
Okay? So this was a great relief to us, that the cows that are just on Redmond salt and conditioner for 10 months or more, and only fresh cows and high producing cows were the ones that were tested, came back with that kind of report card. It was very relieving to us, but really blew us away. The number represents the percent clay, right? So the 1-to-1 blend for a dairy cow, 8-ounce feeding rate, we feel that that is a free choice product. Now the clay, have any of you gone out there and just tried our clay? Or I haven't, my kids, we never found our kids sneaking into the clay bag and it wasn't cookies or ice cream. So cows, it's a learned response to go eat that. It's a learned response to go eat sodium bicarb free choice. But they will eat salt. So when we blend it together, it becomes more palatable. The SR65 is more clay, so they'll eat less of that than they will the SR50. We put that into the TMR mix. The normal feeding rate for bicarb on a dairy cow is 8 ounces a day. By feeding 3/4 of a pound of SR65, we're getting 8 ounces of conditioner and 4 ounces of salt in, which hits the numbers that most nutritionists put into a dairy diet. 4 ounces of salt per cow a day, lactating, 8 ounces of conditioner.
What about for goats?
How big are they?
Just do the ratios.
1,500 pound dairy cow, 1,500 pound doe, 1/10. Okay? So on sheep, it's like 1/3 of an ounce of salt and 2/3 of an ounce of conditioner.
So how, like if you had, you know, your sheep, and you just put it out for free choice?
Just do free choice. Free choice is very easy. Now, when you're bringing the goats in, they're milking, I would tend to force feed some in with their grain that you put out. Okay? But like I say, it's about 1/3.
Because it's easier, I know, with the sheep, the salt out, and then fine with the salt, but then when you mix it with the other stuff, it's a little harder, so mixing it with the...
So Yeah, because goats are very, we see a lot of acidosis in goats. I would put it in with your grain. Animals don't reproduce unless they think they can make enough nutrition to grow a baby. So they're anestrous. They don't come in heat. So I says, are they milking pretty good? Yeah. I says, what about the body weight? He said, well, they get a little skinny. I says, okay, it's not a mineral issue. You need to pour a little more coal to them. Put a little more grain to them. Because they have to be gaining weight. To be in the sheep business, you need to have how many? 2 to 3 babies, right, per ewe? One doesn't cut it. You don't make a living off a sheep with 1 lamb per goat, per ewe. So you have to flush those ewes. What does flushing mean? You get them gaining weight before you put the ram in.
Right.
Okay? So a lot of times I get questions, but it's not a mineral issue really, the problem they're having. It's some kind of other nutritional problem.
So on the selenium for sheep, on the copper, is that an okay amount of copper per sheep or not?
Okay? So what's interesting is we have sheep that don't like copper. We have goats that like to drink it. Okay? So in our goat mineral mix, we've got the copper up to 1,000 parts per million. Is there a goat one on here? Yeah, right there in front. There's a goat.
Yeah.
So we have now got that up to 1,000. We just upped it about a year ago.
Now, just an anecdotal, we've been using the Selenium 90 for our sheep for 7 years, 7, 8 years. It's been great.
University of Idaho Moscow uses our selenium 30, which is the same amount of copper, just different amounts of selenium salt. And it's not an issue. Why? How much did I say a sheep or a goat, you know, the does, how much will the ewes and does, how much will they eat? Because let's say they're both 150 pounds. 1/3 of an ounce. So when you take this copper level of 300 and you say, okay, parts per million, which is a percentage, right? 300 out of a million. Pretty low. And when they're only eating 1/3 of an ounce, how much copper do they really get from us?
Not much.
Not much. And you're not going to have a toxicity with sheep if they're only eating 1/3 of an ounce at 300 parts. There is more copper in the forages than this. That's where you're going to have more of an issue. Okay? So yes, that level is fine for most sheep. But if you have a concern about it, take the selenium 30 or 90 and mix it 50-50 with the number 10, and now you just cut your copper in half. Now you're 150 instead of 300. Pretty simple. This cow with her head down, there's something unique about her compared to the others. Look at the cow with the blue ear tag versus the one with their head down. What's the difference between those two faces?
Droopy eyes?
Well, you got the
Flies.
Flies.
The garlic.
Bingo. Guess what? PhD nutritionist, Oregon, walks into the dairy and he says, we're feeding garlic, why does that cow have flies on her face? The farmer says, I just barely bought her. The rest of them had garlic. She has flies up here too. So just very quickly, this garlic thing has really taken off of Redmond, and it's a big deal. And that is amazing stuff. And
how long do you think it takes to feed them, to run it through their system, to get it out of the pores, to make the fly go away?
If you're doing it loose, 2 weeks. If you're doing a block, 4 weeks.
So which livestock? All of them? Which livestock will that work on?
Cows,
all of them?
We'll work on horses.
Horses?
So, can we like take that and mix it in, like we do, Selenium 90 free feed? I've been thinking about adding the conditioner in, like you're talking. Can we go ahead and, like, what ratio can we add that in?
So the way we formulated this is for like a full-size cow was 3 ounce feeding rate. But I've seen animals licking the blocks, and the blocks they mostly get off about 1 ounce a day, and it still worked, but it took longer to load up the blood. Okay, so with this, I am sure when you first start, feed the 3 ounces to a dairy cow or a goat, you know, you're going to do the 1/3 ounce of it. After they've been on it for 2 to 4 weeks, you could probably cut that level down. But just watch the flies. If you start to see them, it's not so much, a fly can land on an animal and it doesn't bother, it's when they bite them. And so there will be flies resting on your animal still, but they won't be
They won't
consuming.
want to touch them and eat them.
Yeah.
So like for horse, like, because they love the blocks, but like, what if I just put it in a tub, free choice?
Free choice, take the block out,
Yeah.
leave the free choice there, put the free choice out,
It's like a lollipop.
get that build up into them for 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Then you want to put the block back fine.
Because then they'll just.
But I don't like to float horses' teeth, and blocks and rocks aren't the best for the teeth. But, you know, we like the rock on the rope and so on. We can't get the garlic into the rock and the rope, but we can do it loose. Okay?
So you
now
said
we
do it
have,
for 2 to 3 weeks?
we have, where is it? We have the Redmond rock crushed with garlic also. So you can sell that to people with horses. It's online, but it's Redmond rock crushed with garlic. You have this one, which is number 10 fine with garlic. Okay.
I can find some uses for it.
First, a little history about salt. One of the coolest things I think about salt is every civilization has started around access to the salt deposits. It's essential for food preservation, human health, animal health. It was a source of trade. In fact, the term salary was based on getting paid in salt. The saying, is a man worth his salt, was because you were getting paid in salt, and if you weren't earning your keep, you weren't worth your salt. A lot of scriptural reference, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, any religious text talks about the importance of salt. If salt has lost its savor, where will the earth be salted? It was given as a wedding ceremony. It was a housewarming gift because you could put it around and it would clean the spirits of the home. And so salt has always been such an essential part of every civilization. It was also really important for wars. Whoever had access to the salt would win the war. This happened in the Chinese Empire, the Roman Empire. In fact, until just a couple of years ago, you could not sell salt into China because the Emperor of China knew that whoever had access to the salt would win the war. Because if you have no access to refrigeration, the only way you can have food that's preserved is with salt. If you're sweating and you're losing all those electrolytes, your army will immediately suffer. In fact, even in the Civil War, the North took out the South Salt Works in the Carolinas, made a huge problem in food. And so salt has always been incredibly important for human civilization. Yet today, salt's one of the most misunderstood minerals on Earth. For thousands of years, it did all of this stuff, was so essential for life, and yet today, and less so today, but 10 years ago particularly, salt was seen as this white poison that was going to kill all of us. Now, Wendell referred to this yesterday, talked about how salt is, and seawater particularly, is in the same ratios and forms that our bodies need, and we talked about the IV example. Well, if you remember from grade school, and those that are still in the younger grades, we learned that our bodies are about 72% water. Kind of an interesting side note, the Earth is also about 72% water. Kind of cool. And so if I'm 150 pounds, outside of a spiritual discussion, what makes Daryl is 108 pounds of water and 42 pounds of mineral. Outside of a spiritual climatic, which is it should have been. But as I add salt to that water, and the conductivity in the water increases, that light bulb will get brighter and brighter because now that water is completely conductive. And that electricity is passing through the water. So you can drink distilled water.
They need fresh, cold, running water. It's got to be a certain elevation, so you usually get them in the mountain, above 7,000 feet. And anywhere where there's a fresh stream that runs year-round. Their eggs under the rocks, they come hatching out of this bench creek, and the sun wash that comes through here. And they're nasty. They're worse than deer flies. They look like a normal housefly almost, just a little bit narrower back end, but they suck a lot of blood. They bite. Yep. They'll leave big old bumps on you. Clemente really hates it when he's running the small baler. The flies. You need to eat some garlic salt, Clemente, next time you go out this summer in Bell. But so we started feeding this conditioner to help the cows breed up better, and we've been mixing in the garlic salt. We put them out of we've also used oil rubs. We still have some of the rubs up in there, but since we've kind of got them on the garlic salt, it's definitely helped on the fly issue, pink eye issue, and our breed up has been a lot better. So
our buffaloes and cows. If I could see its tag, I could tell you.
Be along this fence.
Yeah, there's only one we really want to see anyway.
Are you with Reds? But like I said, I'm always cold. I usually have my so weird to put our cravat.